Hello everybody, my name is Aceface, I'm in Nullsec, and previously I've actually, not on camera, but I've made a bit of a footage recording of what happened. I went with a few guys in the local alliance on a little bit of like a sort of a roam / defense fleet. We were initially in our corporation or alliance. There's like a defense fleet that goes around. There's like a standing fleet, as they say. For you guys who don't know what a standing fleet is like sort of a fleet which most people try to be in so that everyone can keep an eye on each other, so that in case anyone needs any help, you can sort of warp to each other. So usually when I'm out, I try to always be in it. It's usually never a good reason to not be in it. But either way, we're just chilling, and then there were actually quite a few invaders. Now I don't have it on the footage here. I don't have the footage here, but we'll get to that soon. What happened was that there were some enemies in our territory, the territory of like Pure Blind / Fade area. So this is where we are here. We're currently in Pure Blind. So there's these like local systems, you could say. They had intruders here, and there were also some people camping gates. I think it was some Tech 2 ships. I can't remember which now ships it was, but there were some people camping gates. And obviously that's an issue when you got like new players getting wrecked by people just camping gates, like absolute scrubs. So we went and searched for them, and unfortunately I didn't get to be a part of the action. I think I will probably next time I go on these kind of operations use a bit of a smaller ship, say a cruiser, because the thing is I was using a Praxis. This Praxis is a fit that I found online for ESS defense, so it's not really, I don't know how good it is, but it's got quite a bit of tank, and it's got a lot of like application modules and some tracking disruptions. So it was at least optimized for ESS according to the place I found it to. So I just had it lying around, so I brought this out. The issue with this battleship here is pretty slow. It's got an afterburner, and just generally speaking, battleships warp slowly and align slowly. So I was always coming a bit slowly to all the action. But most of my corp mates or alliance members, they were able to take out most of the intruders. Most of them ran away, but then occasionally some of them did get caught. But then what happened was that there were some people from Fraternity, as far as I understand. Fraternity is the Chinese corporation, or not corporation, sorry, the alliance. And they was one of the Chinese alliances, but they actually were found in the space. And one of the people in our alliance, he actually knew that there was a wormhole that was nearby. It was a wormhole that was in the system here. If we go into this footage, you can see if we go here, need to find the wormhole. You can see actually further because I had already entered this wormhole, but there was a wormhole that led directly to Fraternity space. Here's the wormhole. It's in the system here. This is the one that led to Fraternity space, and then in the GAP6C system there was a wormhole then here. You can see this one that I come out of, but we had Fraternity space then, and there was like a quick easy access. That's why they thought that, okay, the reason that they're Fraternity people here is because they could be invading us through this wormhole. And I thought that was pretty interesting, that you've got like a wormhole, then suddenly the enemies, they can easily infiltrate behind your enemy lines and go and start attacking people in your alliance. But either way, we decided then that, okay, we found that there are people attacking us, let's go back and attack them. So we went with like a little group here. See, there's a paladin, but there's a lot more small stuff. And this is what you can see here. You can see, look at that. You see my Praxis. Oh, I don't want to scale that subtitle. You see my Praxis, very big. Everything else is small stuff because it's a bit more optimal, I think, in these kind of situations. The thing I liked about the Praxis is that, it's a bit of a beefy ship, so at least I know that if I encounter combat, I'm maybe not going to be one-shotted, unlike some of these other guys. But we continued roaming around, and there was actually not so much going on. And the reason was because perhaps the Ratters who were out in the Fraternity space, they ran away as soon as they encountered and saw us on the D-scan. But there's also, I think, that the time was not optimal for the Chinese time zone. So I think a lot of them were probably sleeping. That was a bit of a suspicion that we had there. Because you can see here, there's a lot of... you can see here, there's a lot of quiet systems here. Nothing really going on. Continue here. We do eventually catch some people, and we're looking for people, fools to wreck in our little kill squad here. This is a bit of a mix of various different ships, but eventually we did encounter these Lokis. There are some Lokis that were chilling on these gates. They were sort of like sitting there cloaked up. I think this is another wormhole that like sort of goes through to another area of space. It's like an extra shortcut, you could say. And if we keep going here, there was a lot of discussion about Lokis going on. I just look at Fitz in the meantime while I'm warping because I was a bit bored. This is the thing with EVE Online, is that like when you got these kind of roams going on, then oftentimes there's going to be a lot of time people don't tell you, or at least you don't see in the adverts. Nothing really happens at all. There's a perfect demonstration of this here. We're just going around, nothing's really happening, but it's still a little bit of tension going on. You're like, okay, there could be people coming out any second here because you're in enemy space. So if we could just continue here, we go forward, and then we go back to this wormhole. And then there was nothing there. We didn't see anything there in Fraternity space. But then we went back to then our own space and we were roaming around because the reason we returned was that we heard about these Lokis that I was talking about. They were attacking us from Fraternity, I believe. So if we just continue here, you can see here, look at that. You see there's a bunch of Lokis there. And they're like these really sneaky cloakies. They're sitting here, not cloakies, cloaky Loki. But they're sitting here on this gate. You see this gate? You can see here. They're just chilling there around this gate. Then they're occasionally just like cloaking and decloaking before anyone can get anywhere close to them. I think it's pretty cool. Look at that. And they're just cloaking like that. They're like really sneaky people, just cloaking, uncloaking, coordinating with each other. It's hard to attack them or get any kind of action there because those guys are just cloaking. The second they see anything get too close to the cloak and it's like, okay, we can't find them. But then we encountered this random saber here. This random saber. We didn't really understand what he was doing, but we believed that this saber was in cahoots with the Lokis, and so that it was acting as like a sort of like a tackle, you could say. So he can catch people, and then the Lokis can snipe them. Because the suspicion here was that these Lokis, they had like artillery cannons that they can easily blap small stuff. So that's why here in our group we were saying, oh, be careful, small people, because these guys can like one-shot you. And especially they've got artillery, they've got long range. So if you show yourself with like, I don't know, say Atron, and you're in a bad angle, they can just one-tap you really easily. And this saber, I think, is here to assist. We were guessing that he was here to assist to catch any potential victims. But we managed to catch him instead. You can see here we've got our frigates and destroyers getting there. I managed to wreck the fool. And as you can tell here, look, I'm in the Praxis, the really slow ship, 100 kilometers away. Everyone else has already scrambled him. It doesn't help that I'm not particularly like experienced with Nullsec roaming either. But it also makes a big difference to the ship you use. I both move slower, I align slower, and I warp slower. There's lots of aspects here. You can see here, these guys are getting absolutely wrecked. No chance whatsoever. Then, one of the Lokis, we managed to actually catch them. You can see that there's a wreck over there. I'm not sure if that was the wreck of the Loki or it was the wreck of one of our allies that got destroyed by them. But we managed to actually catch one of these cloaky Lokis. You can see here. Let's see, we walked to this bubble here. I think this is might be where the Loki got caught. You see that Minmatar Advanced Cruiser got caught there, and because of that, he can't warp out with his probe. And what was not the probe? Sorry, the capsule. So you'll see what will happen here. Pretty interesting. What kind of kill mail we were able to secure here. Fortunately, I wasn't really too involved because, again, you can see I'm warping in here, and everyone is already there. It's pretty annoying. To be honest, I think I would like to have maybe a heavy assault cruiser or maybe a heavy interdiction cruiser, some kind of shit that is like a cruiser, not too slow, but also tanky, because I really don't like having this super weak stuff that just dies straight away in one shot. This is the fit of this guy. Look at that. His pod was quite blink, 2.6 bill, so he lost that. Fortunate for him, he lost this pretty extremely expensive pod. I never dare to go around with any implants of significant value here in Nullsec, and this guy is just, whatever, 2.6 bill. That's just the way it is. When you get rich, then it doesn't really matter if you go around in a expensive pod. You lose it, you just get another one. So that was a bit of a roaming I had in Nullsec, in a Praxis. At this point, it was getting a bit late, and I went to bed. But the ship I'm in right now, we went on a little bit of a small adventure there. I know for you guys who are experienced with Nullsec, it's nothing, what the heck, who even cares about that? But for me, it was something. It was, I don't think must have been like many years ago, actually. I was doing some kind of activity like this with people before. So for me, it was actually a pretty special experience, even though it maybe in itself wasn't too exciting. But the thing I also liked was that we're sort of going in and out of systems between wormholes and trying to intercept the enemy intruders and then come back and give them some counterattacks at the same time as well. We'll see what kind of ships we can use in the future. Also a Gila was something I was considering. It sounds maybe like, oh, a Gila, that's usually PvE, but a Gila can be quite tanky, also does a lot of damage, can be have very good range of the drones. It's an idea. That's an idea. If you guys have got any tips for good roaming ships, let me know in the comments down below. I'll be very curious to know. That's enough for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.